The Dow didn't do a whole lot since last Friday. We're really only down about 1% or so. As far as volatility during this week, we had a range of about 1.6%. I have continued to mention this long-term support because eventually we're going to hit this support line. The last time we hit it was early March, and here we are in the middle of April and we still haven't hit it. The Dow seems to be maintaining about a 3 to 4% distance from that support line. The last time we got close, we still ended about 3.5% away. This super long trend line continues to overall outpace the upward drive of the Dow. So eventually it's going to hit this line. If it hits that line and bounces off with strong volume, then you know that's a buy point. If it hits that support and bounces off with weak volume, that's a wait. Of course, it could also breach that support line, and if it does that on strong or average volume, that's a very bad sign. There's just no support levels in any nearby area. That being said, the market does seem to be just going up, 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 up. So the question is then when to get in? The time to get in is when it gets close to this support line and it bounces right back up. So people say buy the dip. That is how you buy the dip. When it hits a support line, if you don't think it's going to breach it, that's a good time to buy it. If you want to wait and see a day or two after it hits that line and get confirmation that it is indeed bouncing, you could do that too if you want to be a little more conservative about it. All right, let's take a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq has that same story with the super long support line. The difference being that we had a very textbook-oriented symmetrical triangle that had a breakout at the end of March, and since then it's gone up quite a bit. Now, the Nasdaq sits, as of Friday, about 8.5% away from this support. If it hits that support line and drops 8% over the next week or two, or even a few days, it could drop 5% in one day. That would be big news. But if it does it over the course of some weeks, then that's not really a huge big deal. And if it bounces with substantial volume, that's a buy. If it bounces with very weak volume, that's a wait. If it breaches that support on strong volume, that's a run for the hills. Again, there is not a clear level of support anywhere. I could draw some potential ones, but all of them only have a couple of touches. Keep your eyes open, watch this volume. The volume has decreased a bit since early March, so we're due for something. We're definitely due for some kind of correction. I am not going to put money into the Nasdaq at this point because it is quite lofty up there. Buyers are pushing forward and then they take a step back to see what's going to happen, and then more people flood in on these little small pullbacks. But eventually there may be a much, much larger pullback. As of now, it's 8.5% away, so stay tuned on that. The S&P 500 still has this troublesome megaphone pattern that is a real pattern. It hasn't fully completed, because once it really completes as a megaphone pattern, you're going to see a big drop, and you'll see a big drop below this support. Now, the S&P 500 does have another lower support that it could hit, a very clear one. As I mentioned last week, if it breaks through this upper portion of the megaphone, then it will nullify it. Problem is, right now, a megaphone pattern continually spreads out the resistance from the support. It's not that likely that it's going to hit this resistance because it's getting further and further away from the resistance as time goes on, or it's going to have to move down and complete the actual pattern, which would be a drop through this support. Either way, we have a lot of action that needs to happen before this megaphone is completed. Stay tuned with us, and if you have any questions about the indices or any stocks, put those in the comments section and I'll do a video on them on our next video rollout. Please subscribe to get all the latest videos, and don't forget to hit the like button below if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.